Hey, guys, welcome back to Freestyle Friday. This is my birthday, G week. For those of y'all that didn't know me back in the day, when it was my birthday, we celebrated for about 2 weeks. And I celebrated with my boys, Ricky Regal and DVH. And it was always just funny. It was just, I'd wake up every day. It's my birthday, G, no matter where we were on the road. So I couldn't think of anybody better to have on this week's show celebrating with me than my main man, HOP style, Ricky Regal.
HOP for life, baby. HOP for life. Ripping the antisocial today. Happy birthday to you, brother. I'm so glad to be back with you. And I had so much fun on the last one, man. I've been about once a week since we did that last show together. I've been stories are popping into my head left and right. And you telling your stories are bringing back even more memories. And that's actually the reason for this show, because the last show you did where you talked about breaking the guy's neck reminded me of the time that you got knocked out cold in the ring. So that's why I reached out to you to tell today's wonderful flashback story.
Ricky Regal, I didn't get knocked out. I got knocked the hell out.
Yeah. Listen, I've never, and this is a shoot, I have never in my life been scared for you in a physical contest, right? Because I know what you're capable of. I've seen it all my life, right? And I've never been afraid for you in a fight. Never. I remember the time when you tell the guy you was going to ram his head into that pole and drown him in that lake. So I was around for all that stuff, and never in my life was that. But that day, man, this thing we're going to tell today, I was really nervous and scared for you that day. And it's a great story now. We can look back on it and tell it. But at the time, we thought our careers were over.
Oh, it crushed our career. It was definitely probably at that point in that stage in the game, the biggest show we had ever been a part of, and we were the main man.
100%.
We were actually carrying the titles for that organization, if I remember right, or either it was the night that we were supposed to pick those titles up.
Yep.
Back in those days, this was before internet, and if there wasn't a lot of camcordering going on, you weren't taping your own matches. So a lot of times that you would actually work in front of scouts, kind of like any other professional sport. People would come out and scout you and see what you were doing.
Yep.
And we had already been in contact with some of those people from a couple of different organizations, and they were really coming in to take a good close look at us. We did a really good job of working with our manager at the time and promoting this show for the promotion. They had us on radio, appearances, and we sold out Aiken High School. I remember it was at Aiken High School.
Yes.
And there was 3,500 or so people there. And it was just the biggest show. The scouts were there. Everything was going big for us. We were main eventing, and we were set up to wrestle this tag team that we had worked several times and had a lot of really great matches with. In fact, one of the members of that tag team, Ralph Hodges, I think I've said this in one of my other shows, was one of the best workers I've ever had the opportunity to be in the ring with, as far as being able to tell a story, take killer bumps, timing, precision. He was just on point. Never really had, quote unquote, the look. He did a couple of job spots for the major organizations back then, but he was a really, really excellent technical worker, and we loved working with him. So we're really
light as a feather, dude. I mean, Ralph, when you worked with Ralph, it was like, it was like working with a pillow. You knew you were never going to get hurt.
Right.
You knew he was never going to touch you with anything, but it was all going to look 100% legit. He's a big guy like us, and I remember he did the off the top elbow drop.
Yeah,
like Savage, and actually did it better than Savage.
Oh, it was beautiful.
That's how good Ralph's off the top elbow was, and he should have been something.
Oh, without a doubt.
He absolutely should have been something, but he had other aspirations, which brings us to what happened.
So the biggest match of our life, and we're working a tag team that we were comfortable with and knew it was going to be a jam-up spot, and knew that if out of everybody that the scouts could ever see us work at that time in our career and everything that was going on, that would be who we would have handpicked.
We were cocky about it.
We knew we had
this match is going to get us to the show, brother.
Right.
This match is going to get us to the show. We knew it. There was no question.
Yeah, this is where we're going to go. And, we were having a good time and everything that was going on in our life at the time, and everything was going well. doing all the promotions and everything. And then about 2 weeks before the show, because back then, for those of you that aren't familiar with this age-old philosophy of promoting shows, you didn't have the internet. You didn't have free promotion. You either had to spend a lot of money or you had to go what we call work the town.
Yep.
And so we went there and we worked the town. We did a lot of promotion. We worked our butts off for 8 weeks before the show. We were down there every week, in and out, doing whatever we could do. And then about 2 weeks before the show, Ralph decides that he wanted to go and be a rock and roll star, and he just quit wrestling. Lost contact. Nobody could reach Ralph. Nobody knew where Ralph was. He was playing guitar in some bar somewhere in Columbia. Was done. He was done. And so
walked away clean. I mean, walked away clean. Didn't say a word to anybody. I'm done. That's it, fellas.
He dropped the mic, baby, before dropping the mics was cool.
That's right.
So his tag team partner decides that he goes out and he gets this other guy, and he tells us the guy is a really great athlete. He's got a build, and the guy was built similar to Nikita Koloff at the time.
Yeah.
In 1990s, Nikita Koloff, very, very muscular, well cut, well developed, great physique, and a black belt in some form of martial arts. So athleticism was on his side.
He was like Steve Blackman before Steve Blackman.
There you go.
He legit looked like the guy, had the beard, the look, the cut, the body, the karate, all of that stuff. He looked the part. I mean, he actually looked like a superstar. He looked like one.
And we were told he had been in the business like 4 or 6 years, something. I don't remember what it was, but it was an extended period of time. But Rick just wanted us to come and meet them the week before the show to kind of get the feel for each other, because it was a big spot for Rick too, right? So he wanted everything to go great as well. And we had never been in the ring with this guy. So Rick wanted us to come down and work on a couple of things with him, get some time in, because we had a couple of quote-unquote high-spot tag team moves that were kind of uncanny and like cutting edge for that time, if you really want to be real about it. And so Rick wanted us to make sure that this guy was capable of doing these things. So we were like, okay, that's fine. You know, we'll have a couple of adult beverages on Sunday afternoon. We were expecting this to take 30 minutes to an hour in ring as far as what we were going to do. So they had the ring set up in this barn. It's what, August?
God, man. It was horrific.
In the armpit of South Carolina, on the other side of Columbia, in a little town called Pillion.
Horrific.
I'm not knocking on the town itself, but I'm just saying the heat. If you've ever been to Pillion in August, if it's hot in the world, it's hot in Pillion.
Yeah, it was terrible. I mean, it was probably the hottest place that I've ever worked out in. And like you said, and you're right, we literally thought we were just going to go down and get in the ring with this guy, do some really nothing stuff, put something together, bing, bang, boom, and go drink the rest of the day, right? But little did we know when we and let me set the table a little bit better about this show, because I think we glazed over it a little bit. This was a huge event. This was not just your regular show. This was at the time Rick Jacobs was really building something, and he was what today you would call a money mark, right? But the guy, he could work a little bit, and his heart was in the right place. He always did us right, you know, clearly. But he had set this show to be his WrestleMania. I mean, he had names on the card from top to bottom, you know, and he had placed us in the semi-main and against him and at the time Ralph, and turned out to be this other guy. But I mean, the Andersons were there, the Koloffs, Wahoo, and these guys were I think still on TV, if not freshly come off of TV.
Right.
Still hot, still had a big following. So this was a big show.
Yeah, Hands of Stone, Ronnie Garvin.
Yep, Hands of Stone Garvin was there, and you and he shared a quite a personal moment that you might can tell another time. But
I don't want to talk a lot of crap on here, but
but go ahead.
Yeah, so we get there to this barn, you know, and we got this big build up for the show, and again, I can't reiterate enough that this is one of our biggest matches because of the scouts going to be there that have shown a great interest in us and what we were doing at the time, because we had no problem getting heat. We had no problem bringing thunder. And again, we had, I don't know if you remember the twist and shout. Remember the twist and shout? I'm going to share that with you guys that may not remember that. This is 1990-ish.
Yeah.
And what we would do is the guy would back me into the rope and Ricky would blind tag me. I would reverse the guy's whip and dive down. He would step over me. Ricky would leapfrog him. He hits the rope behind Ricky into a high hip toss. I said high hip toss. As he hit the mat, I've already hit the adjacent rope, and I'm coming flying with Abdullah, big elbow. So we were doing things like that, and we were really fast-paced. I know you guys probably don't look at us and realize this now, but we were actually considered high flyers as 19, 20-year-old kids.
Yeah,
and
back
really
in the day.
So we thought we were just going to go down and meet these guys and just kind of hang around and talk, get to know each other a little bit, hop in the ring, fill each other out, go through a couple of our spots, maybe take a couple of moves of his to just kind of see where we're at. 9 hours later, we were still working on a collar and elbow tie-up. Sweat pouring off of, about to die, dehydrated. Nobody brought any water.
Yeah.
And anyway, so it was real bad. So we were like really kind of worried about how this match was going to go. So the opening was set up to kind of introduce this guy as Ralph's new partner, blah, 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 blah. And his karate background was going to lead to a certain spot in the match that we do an enziguri. And for anybody that doesn't know what that is, basically he tries to kick me in my stomach. I catch his foot. On his other leg, he jumps, spins, and kicks me in the back of the head for a big kick, and I take a big fall for him. The whole thing was, don't really kick me, bro. Don't really kick me. I will make you look great. I'll make you look like $1 million.
I think you were even gonna cut a flip for him. When the kick was delivered.
Because you know we worked on it slowly with him over and over and over again in that barn, and I had it perfect. You know, I could take pretty bumps back then, and so when he kicked me, I was going to do the big flip for him, put him over real strong, stand up, and do the blah 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 blah, fall out, yada yada yada. Well, that went to hell in a handbasket fast, because what had happened was there were 3,500 people in this high school, y'all, and it was hot. I mean, I don't mean hot like temperature hot. I mean hot. We had the crowd up. Everybody was working hard from the opening match to our match, and after, the crowd was on point, and we brought thunder. I mean, lie. We enjoyed it. We had a good time. We get in the match, and this guy is so nervous that it's like not even funny. He is stiff as a board on set, and I was almost off the enziguri spot, but I thought that would break his nervousness, and that would help ease his tension a little bit. So we threw it in a little early.
Yeah.
And I called for it. And when he hit me, y'all, I catch his boot, and I'm looking around to the crowd trying to do my part to put him over a little bit because I'm getting set up to take this big flip for him. When all of a sudden, he jumps, and he kicked me so hard in the back of my head. It was no bump, y'all.
Yeah.
Got knocked the hell out.
It was, and I saw it in slow motion. Because I know what's supposed to happen, and I know that I don't even think when we arrived at the arena, from the time we arrived, and like I said, we were semi-main, I don't think he spoke a word the entire time. I think, if I remember right, he sat over in a corner and just kind of did this rocking back and forth number the whole night. So I knew right then there's a problem.
Right. And
so we go over to him a couple times, brother, you cool, you good, you right, you got it, you good. I'm just going over it, right? So we think we'll leave him alone, let him get in his head, whatever. So fast forward to the match, and we had set up in the 9 hours that we worked out in that hot gym. We actually got a 3-minute spot down to the science, right? Down to the perfect. This is what you do when you do it, whatever. And immediately the time that bell rang, all that went away. All those 9 hours, all that hard work, all that sweat, all that anger, of having to do it in the first place, gone. He'd forgot everything, and all of a sudden it became, we got to survive now. We shifted into survival mode, And when you call for that
he went straight Cobra Kai.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I believe, and I still believe in my heart, when that bell rang, something rang in his mind and flipped him to, this is a shoot.
It's the tournament.
Because if you remember, when you tied up with him, he was stiff. He's pushing you back hard to the ropes and all that stuff. The opening we created went away.
Right.
And when you called for that kick spot, I knew this is a problem. And like I said, I'm standing on the apron watching this catastrophe unfold in front of my eyes, knowing that Gene Anderson is in the crowd watching this match to give us, the yay or the nay, right? And when that kick was delivered, it was literally in slow motion. And here it comes. and I saw you, and you hit the ground like a sack of potatoes,
dude,
and did not move.
I couldn't move.
And I came down the ring apron, still trying to, kayfabe and settle a little bit. And I'm looking over the ring ropes at you because you're laying right at the adjacent to the ring rope there. And I look over, and you're literally, brother, you had the Undertaker eye roll going, whites, nothing but whites. And I heard you gurgle something, and I was like, that's it. Our career's over. It's done. He killed my partner. Now I got to go kill him and finish this thing somehow.
But Ricky, what was so bad is I looked over at DVH, who was at ringside.
Yeah.
And he was saying GD.
Yeah.
Right. And like, I don't know if you've ever seen a movie, people, when somebody gets knocked out in a movie and the crowd kind of starts to fade into little spots, that had already taken place. But when I look over and I see DVH, we're almost face-to-face level because he's standing at the ringside and he's down on the apron. He's saying the word GD.
Right.
It's coming out like he is like almost 3D.
Yeah.
With this image behind him in my sights, and it's coming out as God. Like it took him 20 seconds to say GD.
Right, yeah.
Now I know I messed up, and I'm laying there trying to wiggle my toes because I'm really not sure what's going on. I'm trying to come back.
Yeah, yeah.
Next thing I know, you have stepped up on the bottom rope and reached over the top rope and slapped me on my chest and came in the ring. I look up, and you got old boy by his ears backing him into the corner, and you are left hand fist waylaying this dude.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like shaking it off. I finally get the cobwebs out, and I'm like, oh, I want some.
Well, hold up before you get to you're getting. When I finally got in, and I'm worried about you and trying to get you out and get DVH to check on you and stuff, and I'm thinking, this guy just killed our career, killed my partner, and at the time I had borrowed the straight left hand punch and out of the corner from P.S. Hayes, one of my heroes, right? And so we had actually set that up into the match, and I called for it, and when I backed dude in and got him, I'm literally holding him with all my strength by his hair, punching him like this, and you need to listen to me, and then once he kind of his eyes came back to me, I was like, do the corner spot. So he shoots me in, and my mind's made up what I'm gonna do at this point. Usually, my punches were always, I took pride in my punches, right? Yeah. So dude, man, shoots me into the corner, and I apologize for that. And I back in, and I see him coming, and again we're in slow motion, and I rear back with that left hand, and I shot it with everything I had, brother. Clocked that boy right between his eyes. That's for my partner.
Right. Here's your receipt.
There's your receipt. Yeah.
So the match went on to catastrophe.
It was, and the crowd fell dead silent after that.
It was awful.
Dead silent.
Nobody really comes to a wrestling match to see a fight.
Bro, and I remember looking out because it got so silent in there because it had been a hot night, like you said, all night. It was just, the crowd was just banging the whole night long. And I remember after that kick, hearing stone silence after making sure, you're still alive. And I actually looked out into the crowd, and people were literally just sitting there with their mouths open, like they had just seen a murder,
Right.
And it was stone silent. I've never seen anything like it before in my life, and hopefully I never will again. But
right.
But that was a night that I think, man, it could have been, but turned into what should have been,
And what made it so bad is we made it through the match without anybody getting killed or hurt too bad. And we're walking back with our heads down, and Gene Anderson walks up to us, and I remember it. Well,
yeah,
that was the drizzling shits. Nothing else.
That was it.
Not a chance to explain. Not
Nothing.
a chance.
Nothing. That's all he needed to say.
And we did not handle it like professionals.
No.
It was not the right situation, but again, we were 19, 20-year-old kids. I'm not going to make excuses for us, but I guess I am. We really got mad.
Yeah.
So that was, like you said, the night that was, it never will be.
That's right. That was one of those nightmare nights, man, that you wish you could change, but hey, it makes for a great story. 30 years later, right?
So our hats are off to all those guys that are out there still doing it, right?
That's right, man. God bless all of you. I would never. I think you and I were talking before we turned this thing on, and it's different from what it was when you and I got into it. And I just don't know that I don't think I would enjoy it as much today as I did back then. just, you know, what the times we had and stuff, man, you know, I don't think you could replace those. And I certainly a lot of the stuff we did then is not allowed today. So
No. And
brother, listen, thank you so much for having me on, man. And, you know, I love you with all my heart, and I love telling these stories with you. Happy birthday again to you. And I want to do this again sometime soon. We got a lot more stories we can tell. But in the meantime, anybody who's listening wants to check out some of my stuff. It's all Ricky Regal on Facebook, all over the internet, all over the social, RIKKIREGAL. Hit me up on there and follow some of the things that I have to say. But again, brother, thank you so much for having me on, and I love you, and I can't wait to do it again.
Hey, man, I appreciate you, brother. Love you too.